Silas can steal all these ultimates and have a good time. He can steal the Dragon's Kick. He can steal the Realm Warp. He can Nara, as we saw, very successfully last game. Even stealing Braum or Aphelios ultimate.
I mean, I actually think that Braum and Nara are the best ones here, and the Braum is ridiculous because Glacial Fissure does so much damage if you've got damage.
Yeah, and also into a Nara, it's very, very strong.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, yeah, I am concerned. But let's see how Taeyun does with this Braum support, because I think that right now, when I look at DRX and I see the playmaking potential, it's always on the bottom side of the map. They always consistently surprise me with how crazy the plays they make are. Even if they don't necessarily make sense, they take big risks, and sometimes it ends up being a really massive start, as we saw last game. I want to see how it unfolds before I just trust that Deft and Vista, the more veteran duo, will win out, because that is what I inherently believe, but I do want to see it play out. Atlas.
Yeah, me too. And I do like that Deft has gone for the Chinese New Year Jinx skin as well. Bit of a throwback to his time in the LPL.
Yeah.
Maybe a shout out to the 10-year anniversary of LPL Esports.
Yeah.
It's also pretty cool.
Also, just to remind everyone of the stakes here, if DRX loses this game, they will not only confirm last place, but they will be the fastest team to do so, faster than Spenu was the last team to actually do it.
And I just hate it when Spenu Sonic Boom lose records, because I just need them to continue to have, you know, a name in the record books so we can always remember the time of the Sonic Boom.
Yeah, and, you know, it's crazy because DRX would actually take 2 of them away if they lose this.
Yeah, it's a big shame. Big shame. But DRX can potentially bring us to, you know, 6 games for the night, as well as potentially find themselves the reverse sweep.
Kingen is...
which means that they might not get 10th.
I was just going to say, Kingen is 0-4 on the Gnar, which is in some ways surprising just because I think he's one of our better Gnar players here, even though he's not on the strongest team. But I guess less surprising when you remember the team, and then you realize that even if he plays well, sometimes, most of the time, on a 1-12 team, your stats aren't going to look good. And it'll be the second time he plays it in this series. Unfortunately, again, the Silas, somewhat of a soft counter to it in terms of those team fights, is Jet is having a field day in this matchup so far.
Having a very, very good time up against Chovy, who has taken the Dark Seal and the refillable, which isn't exactly the most power that you can collect there.
He's also got
Corrupting Potion for a bit of extra sustain.
He's got some cookies to keep himself in the lane.
Yep.
As Willer this time around, we'll see where he's headed. He's going to clash with Pioshik here early on. Double buff advantage at the moment.
Both of these junglers have Smite as Willer almost gets there to take it away. That placement was fantastic. His first blood solo kill for Jet in the mid lane against Chovy.
There you go. Hey, time for some revenge.
And the student becomes the master,
yeah,
Wolf.
I mean, there you go. I mean, that's an amazing start. Unfortunately, Willer's unable to steal that red buff away from Pioshik. Doesn't get his flash or anything like that. He just walks out free. And this could have been actually Willer saving Chovy's life, or actually turning that around. If he had been a little bit more present of mind on how that lane was going, he was able to walk past, but then didn't actually turn around. Chovy didn't actually call for him. If we watch this again, watch where Willer is on the map. Like, if he actually comes up here, there's a huge opportunity potentially. I mean, it's tough with the minion wave to get the stun.
The flash.
Yikes.
That's what happens when, you know, Chovy wants the cannon.
Exactly. Gets flashed on the last auto.
나 집 갈게요.
And, you know, I think that... I think he said he was going home.
Yep.
Goes to buy. But the opportunity there for Willer was... the window was kind of thin, but I think he could have maybe helped out. Either way, he's unsuccessful. Chovy dies. That's a Ryze that's now 10 CS up. We know how the Ryze CS numbers can get pretty high. Going to be
Certainly a lot of ballooning.
Yeah, accelerated power spike for him.
Well, let's see how Chovy's going to recover here, because he's going to need to give a little bit of respect over to Jet, and maybe give up a bit of this CS instead of trying to fight for all of it. As we know, certainly does like to make sure that he gets all of the farm possible. But Jet is playing this one very, very nicely with the amount of aggression that he's throwing out. Good sidestep there from DRX, understanding that there's probably a hook coming from the brush.
Yeah, it's a pretty passive moment here before the Rift Herald spawns, because the control of the map
Yeah.
Life Esports does not have, at this stage. Actually, the Rise is winning the early game, but getting a kill is kind of, a bit too far. Like, that's pretty rare, as Willer will be unseen.
Yeah, and now Jet is going to be in trouble. That is some pretty instant revenge to come through from Chovy, as Pyosik now going to look to try and fire at least a Tempest in there, but not going to quite be enough. Okay, so Chovy gets his revenge. Will they be able to get more?
Pyosik needs to really respect this. Going to get 6, gets the kick. And if this bottom lane was going a little bit better for Hanwga Life Esports, this ends up being an easy Drake. Tess is going to be Chovy back, and here's the grab, though.
Yeah, good hook is going to connect, but Unbreakable is there. Taeyun does have grab at him, so Def not going to be able to follow up or anything like that. Going to respect the Aphelios, as DRX were looking like they were cheating a bit of a back, but not going to be an overextension there from Hanwga Life just yet.
Yeah, really aggressive positioning here from Deft and Vista. Not have level 5.
Yeah, oh, that was actually really cute, but Deft still managed to pick up the Winter's Bite, which is a bit unfortunate. Looked like Vista was trying to stand in the way of that one.
Chovy's back in lane. 90 seconds to Rift Herald here, so that vision control is going to be oh so important as we're going to watch this once again. Willer babysit Chovy. The ward is disabled. Would have actually been more interesting, I think, arguably to watch Jet's first-person view there, because he just has no idea this is coming.
Oh, and yeah, Pyosik did.
Oh my god.
Only just misses him.
That's actually insane. I mean, I think even if Jet walks forward, he probably dies either way, even if he gets seen at that moment just because he's overextended. But the placement of the pillar was perfect. Chovy reacts immediately. They clearly calmed it out.
Very nicely done, as now Jet with no flash.
No flash and no
okay,
escape.
some chains are going to miss as Chovy has the kick, and he's going to use it just to execute Jet there. Pyosik barely misses. Oh man, that's actually just really unfortunate.
And just like game 1, things started off so great for DRX in the very early game. You see something unexpected happen. We saw the Thresh get the double kill. This time Jet gets the first blood, and yet it's all about Willer turning it around.
Such a shame. I feel like that Q missing has been basically the story of Pyosik's season so far.
Yeah, sadly, you hate to see it, but that is, I mean, that is basically it personified, isn't it?
It's not exactly the greatest. However, we do need to focus on Hanwga Life Esports needing to turn their season around as well.
Yeah.
The 2-0 here would certainly be very, very valuable for them. The game hasn't been won yet. Chovy with 2 kills, though, is very scary if you're a DRX fan.
Yeah, with all the teams that are vying for that 6th spot, you can't be the one who drops a game to DRX if they all don't, right? So that's why this one is so important, even though it feels like it sounds like a silly thing to say, because it seems like an easy matchup for Hanwga Life Esports, but faltering even a little bit can have big consequences, as Kingish should be able to stop this.
Yeah, Jet actually on vision right now, as once again they're going to go aggressive. Jet looks for the Rune Prison, but he's not going to find it as the pillar was in the way. Now Morgan rotating down, Willer fighting against Pyosik, as Pyosik was very aggressively positioned. Just going to buy some space here, understanding that the tent was well and truly pitched in the mid lane. DRX needs to be in the area.
Really want to have this Rift Herald fight controlled, so they're just coasting around trying to clear all the vision up, and that's why that opportunity almost arose. They do get onto this, have the numbers advantage. The vision is not removed, so Hanwga Life Esports know about this. They need to be very quick to respond.
This ward positioning is actually just incredible from Hanwga Life Esports, to be honest. It's okay. It is going to be secured by Pyosik, as the rest of Hanwga are going to get in there. Pyosik going to go down first. It's a great nut into the wall from Chovy. Does secure that one for them. The flash forward from Morgan on his huge crocodile. And now Jet is going to go down for the triple kill. Is it going to be a 9.5-minute quadra? It could certainly be, but no, the flash is going to deny it as Chovy makes his way out now 5-1-0. And maybe a message to other teams to not first blood Chovy.
Oh no,
it makes him angry.
It is. He certainly looks angry, but he is 5-1-0, 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. And I gotta say, this is a fight that your composition as DRX is really pushing it when you're trying to look for a fight here on the Rift Herald, even with the timing advantage they had, and the house misses, as you kind of sigh and point out. But the fight here is so much going to be in the hands of Hanwga Life Esports if they can actually lock down their CC and get on top of this. Their damage early on is so oppressive against a team that's relatively fragile, right, at this stage. And so you end up kind of rushing for this, and then you flip the game on the loss. I mean, not that it's over, but it's almost over, right? I mean, Chovy is extremely fed, and we're going to watch another game similar to the last one, where Chovy just runs around the map and kills anyone who tries to side lane, kills anyone who tries to set up provision. So now you have to play extremely passively once again as DRX. And when you have the Jinx on the other side, just like the Ziggs last game, Hanwga Esports are okay if you just sit back and turtle. They're just going to take over the map.
Yeah, they're going to try to anyway, as we're going to check this one out once again. The good news is that DRX did manage to lock down the Rift Herald, as we're going to go very far back, actually. This sidestep from Jet was great, avoided 2 of Chovy's abilities, but unfortunately he had more than that available to him.
Morgan is just so clutch in this fight. Early Dominus, it just gives him a little bit more survivability. Look at how much damage he takes here, but it just doesn't matter because when he's ready to go in and hit the Q, he's going to get all that heal back. Ooh, it's so fat. And yeah, he's healing up. Jet is in big trouble. Chovy's ready to close the gap.
And actually, Morgan's, like, because it looked like he just walked around and did kind of nothing, but he zoned them away so that Chovy could get the work done.
Exactly. And
that's a brilliant hook there from Vista. But Stand Beside Me is going to come through. Super Mega Death Rocket sidestepped pretty beautifully here, but the 2-man flay comes down. The Thresh is going to be taken as Deft will go down as well. The teleports come through from everyone, and now Chovy finds himself in amongst 4 people. Let's see who's going to be able to win this one out as he misses the ultimate, and that might just be the end of that. It certainly is. I think part of all of us felt like Quadra Kill could be happening, but then reality stepped in.
That was definitely where everyone heard the wah, 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 like in everyone's minds, you know?
Yeah.
It was the sickest hook into, uh-oh, we're outnumbered. That was a really good rotation.
Oh, that sidestep was pretty beautiful as well. Not going to find the wall onto Morgan either.
Does not have flash. So cannot chase. It's just going to get these minions. But yeah, that was definitely Chovy's almost save of what could have been a really awesome scenario for Hanwga Esports. But now suddenly DRX actually have a gold lead. Trade back all of that early deficit. And I think that even though they have a gold lead, I would go as far as say that Hanwga is not only ahead, but still massively ahead. But let's watch how this happens. Once again, Pyosik is here, kicks away onto Willer, and Vista is just like, oh, I think I overextended here. He's extremely low, gets the hook, and then things just start to go wrong because Pyosik is still here, by the way. Yeah. He gets on top of Deft. There's just too much damage ranged here against a comp that in the initial part of the fight is going to do very well, but in the later parts just doesn't have that same damage throughput. As Chovy unfortunately misses the ult, and there's only so much you could do as Silas, even against all these low health bars. Like you're still playing against a top tier team, and DRX, like it's maybe not our top of the LCK, but it's a pro gamer team. They are going to focus you down and kill you.
Yes, you are just going to die in that instance. But I think we all had that little voice in the back of our head saying, "Could he do it?" The answer was no.
No,
and it certainly shouldn't have been possible. So, thankfully, reality does exist. And we are going to be brought back to it with a bit of a crashing halt. But it is still Hanwga Esports with not that much gold to speak of as far as the deficit. They have Kraken Slayer on Deft now as well, and their composition will scale very nicely. I think this Rise does need to be respected, though.
Yeah.
2, 3, and 1 now after that campus has subsided. And there is still some scaling options on DRX's side also. So
oh, yeah.
I don't think we need to really start phoning it in just yet.
Definitely not. I mean, Hanwga Esports definitely, you know, I don't want to say phoned it in, but big overextension as Chovy uses his Realm Warp. You're not going to commit without vision.
Yep.
The situation here is that a lot of the gold is on Chovy, and that can be great, but if he's unable to turn it into a lead, things can definitely bounce back here pretty quickly for DRX because the Rise is going to be able to do a lot in a longer team fight in every scenario, whereas Chovy is so reliant on hitting those combos and executing somebody or stopping somebody who's trying to side lane, right? And I mean, the fact that Chovy has this massive lead means that Rise is never going to be able to kind of freely sit in the top or bottom lane and soak forever, because you're going to get punished for that.
Yeah. It does kind of depend as well on what Jet can continue to make work, you know, because if the Rise does hit critical mass, it's going to be very difficult for anyone, as that's a lot of wards invested to try and deny the Lantern. As, okay, we've got a Realm Warp coming on through. 4 members underneath the turret as Vista. Not going to quite find the hook, as this Thresh should definitely be dead. Moonlight Vigil is going to go wide, though, as Deft going to be taken down as well. Willer will secure that kill with a Subjugate for the last hit, which was odd. However, not going to be able to turn this onto anyone else, as it will be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of DRX.
And the kills go to an Aphelios and a Rise, the champions you do not want to have gold at this stage. Like, this is really starting to look like, you know, the lead that Chovy had is very quickly fading away, and this Jinx isn't getting... hold that thought, Chovy.
Yep. Big on flash forward, as Chovy is going to find the Nara into the wall, and just scooped up by Morgan. Man, is he a food processor? What the heck?
That was actually so clean. It's really sad to be Kingen in this moment, too, because as soon as you see the Sylas, you're like, oh, man. There's nothing I can do to stop him from hijacking me and turning myself against me.
Turning myself against myself.
I mean, that's what it's like, oh, okay, wait, I wish I wasn't Gnar right now because he's going to Gnar me.
Yep.
Right into the wall, and good night, Kingen. But, again, none of this gold going over to the Jinx, making this essentially a solo carry game because the Renekton, even though it's 1-0 and 2, and Morgan's had a great game so far, isn't going to be as relevant later on as this Rise and this Aphelios is. So something to keep in mind.
Well, Hook is going to be point blank here as the Flame Chompers go down as well. Jun's going to be able to block a fair bit with the Unbreakable as the Flay comes back. Deft throws out Super Mega Death Rocket as Pioshik not going to be taken down too far as Rift Herald is going to be secured now. Deft with a bit of damage onto Taeyun, but it looks like DRX will just back away successfully.
Yeah, they do get out of here without losing anybody. And, you know, Taeyun very close to having his ultimate up. Does not have it, unfortunately, so can't look to try to turn that fight. DRX going to end up losing this top turret here as the Rift Herald is planted immediately, but they won't be able to force down an inner or anything like that. This is second Herald, so not going to be the most impactful. But let's see if they make a mistake here with, I mean, also Vista's coming up, then suddenly this ends up being a massive play.
Now Taeyun is slightly by himself here in this mid lane. Does need to be a little bit frightened of the potential Sylas.
No resources being given, actually, to defend this top push. So guess what? They actually are going to get this.
Yeah, the Hook is going to go wide, but that's a phenomenal pillar. Jet has to flash, and that is going to mean that Shirley might get yet another crash into the wall as Morgan turns up, tries to avoid a few of these skill shots, and there are no minions.
And
therefore, Hanwga are able to just keep pushing in. Inhibitor turret goes down, and I'm going to write in my diary that that was worth it for Hanwga Life Esports.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially considering that DRX don't even get the mid turret they were committing to because that's cleaned up now. And they're going to look for this Drake, and because Hanwga Life Esports just don't have any control over this mid wave, they are going to get it. Pioshik here started it alone, but June and Taeyun are now here, so going to be a 2 Drake lead here for DRX, but a lot of gold, once again, going into the pockets of the Hanwga Life Esports members with that inner turret going down.
Yep.
And, you know, some of it this time actually, in fact, going to the Jinx, which is where it needs to go right now for Hanwga Life.
As Rapid Fire now completed, does Deft, so just needs that Infinity Edge, and he's going to be feeling very, very happy. Of course, with the Thresh, you don't need to build Gale Force, don't need to have that extra defensive, dash or anything like that. So Kraken Slayer will give a bunch of extra damage. Cosmic Drive now done for Chovy as well, as he also hits 2 items. And Hanwga's starting to come online now. 800 gold the lead for them. Taeyun, as we can see, not quite able to finish his second item just yet, but I imagine he has that gold well and truly in the bank. You can see he is 2-0 and 3 right now. We'll be able to go back and really fill out his coffers.
Yes, soon.
There's a Realm Warp towards the top side. Morgan trying to keep himself in here, but I think he's probably not going to survive, as Morgan's going to be able to, as Kingen's going to be able to tidy up that kill.
Still a lot of extra gold going to the Rise here too, and you know, Kingen, he himself is going to be one of the forces to carry some of these late game team fights in the 5v5s. But Hanwga Life Esports, like you said, they're starting to come online, and they were very strong early on, but come online in the sense that now they don't have to win crazy, wacky skirmishes to win fights. They can actually just straight up front to back, with the Sylas being insane for frontlining, but also setting up combos. If he's able to steal the Gnar ultimate, for example, that's something that's very terrifying, and that Deft is going to be very happy with. Morgan's going to be very happy with. He's going to be given all the extra gold here on the side lane that DRX will match.
Oh, that's a great hook to come through. Taeyun's going to have to flash to get himself out of the way, but the rockets are coming through. They do manage to trade one back, but is it going to be enough as Chovy? He's turned up, looking for that Glacial Fissure now as well, as he finds it onto the Gnar, now connects the chains onto Braum, and Deft is chasing after Kingen as well. He needs to flash over the wall to get himself away. And Hanwga Esports win a beautiful team fight just in time for Baron.
Oh, the perfect timing here. And this is why, in the last game, like, could you blame DRX for playing passive? Could you blame them for having to really just be patient and sit back and not try to take turrets, not try to take objectives? When you try to take mid-turret, they show up, and you're just, the skill of these players, the champions they're on that are fed, right? The Chovy on this Silas makes it so terrifying to actually try to take a skirmish. As Taeyun, you get caught by the hook, and it's like, well, my life's over. And guess what? Everybody else is going down with me because this comp can chase so extremely well. As we're going to go back to Morgan getting picked off here. It was a really nice rotation over from Jett.
Yeah, Jet's actually just playing really, really well.
His macro,
this game.
Yeah, it's really solid. His Vista just, I mean, I don't even want to say threads a needle. It's just right over the minions there. Deft trust with the chompers. And Willer's here. So you got the pillar. That's a kill. And Chovy's like, oh, I'm here too, by the way. Teleports in, flashes forward. And, like, this is no longer a fight that's winnable.
No. And I actually like that he uses the ult onto King in there to make sure that he can't try and help peel for the Braum. Because if they're both auto-attacking, then Chovy could potentially just get stunned in that scenario. But with the rest of the team coming on over, it's probably unlikely, but still, cool way of playing that particular little moment. Hanwga tidying up some vision here towards the bottom side.
DRX just trying to group and look for picks.
Well, they're going to get the kick back onto the Crocodile, who's going to take a lot of damage. Chovy diving on over, looking for the 1v3. Let's see how well he's going to do. Super Mega Death Rocket connects onto Pyosik, as that's a Realm Warp, as Chovy decides not to take it. Jett's in trouble now. Big Nah, as Chovy goes golden, breaks his stopwatch, now going to flash himself out of the way. The Kingslayer's huge, and Chovy survives. Taeyun's now trying to get in amongst it. The Q is going to miss from Pyosik, as Chovy's still just battling minions. It's getting a little bit worrying there, as Def trying to get the autos. Gravitum comes through, and he does have to use the cleanse to stay alive. Hanwga still on the chase, but I think maybe cut your losses at this point, gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely. Look, you take the trade in this case, and the Drake is coming up in 50, so you need to reset and be ready for that. I don't think there's any world where they could try to sneak it here. They are going to look for some extra vision because they know that DRX could be lurking nearby, and Pyosik is still alive. They're just going to stay here. And, I mean, look, if you grab a pick here, this would be insane onto Taeyun.
Yeah, also onto Pyosik as well, just before this Drake is going to spawn.
It's pretty greedy, but it does not work out.
I mean, they have Baron, you know?
True.
It does sort of change things a little bit,
yeah.
As the 20-minute Baron after that little skirmish was enough to do it.
And that's going to be the Drake. You know, they don't get any kills, but they have so much control.
Yeah, Deft very excited as well. Represented quite accurately with the Jinx.
Actually just going to really try to force the issue here instead of just taking the objective. But if you get a pick or two, you can actually maybe get an inhibitor super early on into the game.
Super Mega Death Rocket going to be blocked majoritively there by the Unbreakable.
It's like, there is a Drake up, but they just really want to win the game right now. They're like, we're going to push this super hard.
I mean, they've got 10 seconds left on the Baron. You may as well use it and take the Drake, right? Okay, Willa in a bit of trouble, tanking up the turret as Jett's still strong, guys. Chovy going to back away now, but losing the jungler just before this Drake as its sole point for DRX is probably not what you're looking for.
Yeah, this is kind of, I mean, I don't mind using the Baron buff to its fullest extent, but also going between turrets to try to look for value while you're also pushing with that when the Drake is up is a little bit scary. They are still going to be able to burst this down because unfortunately DRX's comp can't look to fight this. You have to kind of go back and lick their wounds. They took a ton of damage. Can't rotate over. And as it turns out, you don't have to have Smite to take a Drake. That's not a requirement, just a suggestion. As this was the pick onto Morgan, but then things go real bad real quick as Chovy comes over here, does a ton of damage, the Death Rocket hits, and then the Realm Warp follow-up. He doesn't actually take it, but, I mean, he is just so unkillable. The Kingslayer is so strong. It's actually getting nerfed in an upcoming patch. Just, like, actually crazy. It's been nerfed a lot. But, I mean, look at King and just try his best to be relevant. And now you're just so outnumbered. As DRX, they look for the Moonlight Vigil to try to turn, but it's just not enough. Have to get out of here. And this is where things go a little bit wrong. Like, look at where Willer is right now. Like, I mean, I get the idea. If we catch Jett here, it's pretty massive because he is the carry of DRX right now, but could have just walked away.
I mean, he just kind of got rune prisoned and died. I don't know what the actual plan was there. I assume it was use subjugate to make myself more tanky and then kill him under the turret because I don't mind about turret damage. But, you know, he's just not quite there just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly not just not advised, okay?
Yeah.
Do not try this at home.
No.
That's, I guess, the end result. Because
he has the biggest lead in his team, though. So, I mean, maybe we can't fault it.
The reward would have been more than you could imagine, as some would say. But it's like it ends up being just overextension that doesn't actually have any real consequences because DRX, unfortunately, just are unable to fight or skirmish in this game. So Drake still goes over to Hanwga Esports. The first of many they will have to take if they want to get Soul, but I'm not sure we're going there this game. DRX need a team fight where they can have great setup with this Gnar into the Rise and Aphelios damage. Like, it's just that simple. They do not want to be taking skirmishes. Like, right now they're trying to look for picks, and they have been able to find Morgan twice now. You can find him a third time, it gives them a little bit more map control. But every time they try to collapse over with two like this, look at what's happening around them. You get punished. And then Hanwga love these fights. They don't want a 5v5. They want to just take these skirmishes all game long. I mean, yeah, they will 5v5 if you give them a good opportunity and setup, but they will always win the skirmishes.
Well, the Realm Warp there does manage to get Jet and Pyoshik out to relative safety. This ward going to be taken down after that control ward does eventually find its way into the brush. And it's a 3,000 gold lead. Jet's still very strong on the side of DRX, and this time not going to get Flame Horizoned anytime soon.
No.
So far more of a champion this time. His set certainly did fall completely out of the game, almost entirely. So thankfully now we're seeing what he can do up against Chovy.
Rapid Fire Storm Razor for Deft, pretty nice combo when you consider the targets he wants to be killing in this game. If he can hit the Rise from far away and help finish off that target, if Chovy is able to CC, he gets that auto off. Like, that's Jet dead in an instant. He has a stopwatch, but no Zonias, so he's got one chance to live and then pop out and do massive damage. So he's kind of got one get out of jail free card, and that's it. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of chances. His positioning is going to have to be paramount. You can see how aggressively he's trying to side lane right now, and he's actually getting away with it because Chovy is doing the same, and that's actually what Rise wants in this case. Okay, Chovy's going to push super hard. Well, I'm going to match. Now, they're going to start Baron.
Yeah, I think he should, right?
He's got teleport to come in. Chovy's in such a good position.
And so Control Vision does go over the wall as Kingan's going to get sandwiched just a little bit. They don't exactly have a lot of reliable tanking here on the side of DRX, but Deft, with his extra range, is able to get that poke damage in there. We'll see whether Vista can peel effectively as Chovy getting the wrap around. He's currently in the dark as there's the Gnar onto 3, the Everfrost as well onto Taehoon. He does get himself out of the way, but it's Morgan that dives in on top of him. He's massive with hysterics as well. Goes golden. Now Jet's in trouble. It's a big Gnar from Kingan, but honestly it's too late as Deft is at full health. He's completely untouched. It's a triple kill for the Rise, but Deft is just too strong. And it looks like Hanwga are looking for the end.
Oh, they are going to look for the end here. And when I said that the positioning is going to be so important for Jet, I did not mean to that extreme.
Yeah, he's flashing.
Oh, he's flashing because this game is over. Take these turrets out and go for the Nexus because there's minions here, and that's going to be a wrap.
That's it.
Jet comes into this fight so late. He gets a triple kill, but if he had been there to start in better position, right, of course, it would have been caught by Chovy, who's right at the front. Might have had a better chance here, but they played it super greedy. Will looks super pumped about that win as well. And there you go. This is going to be guaranteed. DRX get 10th place.